Fly fishing is an ancient form of fishing that involves using artificial flies to imitate the aquatic insects that fish feed on throughout their lives. In this video, we will go over all the necessary gear, skills, and knowledge you will need to get started. Let's get into it. The first piece of gear you'll need is, of course, a fly rod. For beginners, I'd recommend using a 9-foot 5-weight rod. That's going to cover all your basic fishing needs, whether it be bass or trout. That's 5-weight is just going to cover everything. I personally use the Redington Path rod paired with the Redington Run Reel, and this setup has been great. But you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can pick up any cheap rod off of Amazon or Walmart, and that's going to work just as well. And of course, after you practice, you can always upgrade to a nicer rod. Next, you'll need some flies. Now these flies are going to imitate the bugs that are drifting through the water. There's 3 main types of flies that fly anglers use. First is dry flies, and these are the bugs that sit on top of the water. When you see a fish jump, it's most likely eating a dry fly. And these can range anything from grasshoppers, caddis, mayflies, beetles, or even ants. Second is nymphs. 90% of the time, the fish are eating nymphs. And these are the bugs that are going to drift towards the bottom of the river. Last is streamers. These flies imitate the smaller fish that those larger fish are feeding on. Now you can buy flies off of Amazon, but I'd recommend using Etsy or Sportsman's as they will be much higher quality. Or if you're a little more creative like me, you can tie your own flies, which is way more fun. Next, you'll need some leaders and tippet. Most fly rod and reel combos off of Amazon will come with the leader already attached, but if you don't, then I recommend using a 3x 9-foot leader and then getting 3x, 4x, and 5x tippets. Last, you're going to need something to carry all your gear in. Now I personally use a vest, but you can use a backpack, a hip pack, or a chest pack, whichever you prefer. Some other accessories include waders and a net. It's not necessary, you can get them if you want to, but you don't need it. Last thing you're going to need to know is how to cast. For right-handers, position your left foot forward and vice versa if you're left-handed. But first we're going to pull out some line, pull about 15 feet, and when I cast, I'm going to bring my rod back to about the 1 o'clock position and then forward to the 10 o'clock position. It's very important that when you cast that you let the line unfurl behind you and straighten out before you continue. Beginners can look behind their back to watch that line. If you're more advanced, you'll be able to feel it, but this is pretty basic. It does take a learning curve and takes practice, but once you figure it out, you'll have success. I've made my way up to a spot in the river. I'm just going to kind of explain what you're looking for when you're fly fishing. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but we have a little creek flowing in right there. And we got some rapids, and just on the other side of that, the water gets really soft, and so I know that's where the fish are going to be. Fish don't like to be swimming in a faster current. They want to sit in the softer water and wait for food to drift by. And so what I'm going to do when I cast in here is I'm going to cast slightly upstream and let my flies drift down just right there. And I'm running 2 nymphs under an indicator. And what this indicator will do is when a fish eats my fly, it's going to go under the water, and so I know when to set the hook. And when I'm setting the hook, I'm not doing a huge, powerful setting the hook. It's just a soft but fast lift to your ear, okay? All right, here we go. Ooh, that's a good fish. Nope. Oh, wait. 12, 13, probably 12 to 14 maybe. Fly fishing is not just about catching fish. Something about casting a fly rod and exploring new rivers is just so peaceful. So get out there and you will have success. Thanks for watching.